So next is what happens if we have more than one product. Most companies do. This is not hard if we allow ourselves to make one big assumption, and that assumption is what is the unit sales mix of products. The steps to make this work is we get the profit contribution first of each individual products, we get the fixed costs and the sales mix. Then we determine what we'll call the weighted average contribution margin for a blended unit. If we have 60% of one product and 40% of another product, we then blend it by multiplying the contribution margin for the first product by 60, and then the contribution margin for the second product by 40, add them together, and that becomes a blended contribution margin per unit. Then we do our normal CVP, and then we blow it back out, saying 40% of those is product B and 60% of those are product A. So here's the data for an example with multiple products. Now we have two kinds of products. We have ice cream bars and popsicles. And now we have two columns here. One is for ice cream bars. How many do we sell? 5,000. Price is $2. Price went up. And then the variable cost is still $1.10. And then popsicles, we sold 5,000 and it's 80 cents and the cost is 40. Fixed costs are $3,400. And so what we're trying to do is figure out what is the break-even point for this particular product line. Again, we copied it into Excel in the section called multiple break-even. We start with what is the weighted average contribution margin? Well, let's start with each one individually. So ice cream, and over here is popsicle. For that, the sales of 5,000 and 5,000. So a total of 10,000. The percentage, sales percent, is plus that divided by 10,000. We kind of know what that's going to be. And we copy that over there. The sales mix is 50-50. The next thing we say, well, what is our unit contribution? Price minus the variable costs. For the ice cream is $2 and the cost is $1.10. And so the margin is 2 minus $1.10. And that is the unit contribution. And we do the same for the popsicle. Price is 0.8, variable cost is 0.4. So unit contribution is 0.8 minus 0.4, or 40 cents. Now we blend it by the percentage. Percent of sales. And that was 50%. And we do for both. So then we multiply to get the weighting. So this is the weighted average. And so that is 50% times unit contribution there. Same thing for popsicle. And now we can add them. That plus that. So this is weighted average. So now we know it's 65 cents per unit. So now we can go back to our break even. Again, to go through one more time, profit equals the contribution margin times X minus the fixed cost equals contribution margin 0.65 X minus fixed cost of 3,400. So we can solve it. So X equals, bring the 3,400 to the other side, 3,400, and divided by 0.65, divided by 0.65. And so that's 5,230 units would be the break-even, but that is this blended unit. So now we have to break it back into ice cream, so 2 products. And so half of it, or plus that, times the sales mix is how many ice cream, and copy that over to popsicles, and that's how many popsicles. And so the total better be the total sales, and so that's our break-even point, is that we have 26.15 of each of the products and we'll break even. Now to test it, I'll just put the unit contribution margin of 90 cents here and 40 cents there. And so if we multiply the units times the contribution margin and copy those and get the total. So that's the total contribution margin minus the 3,400. That's our cost, and the contribution minus the fixed cost is 0, otherwise known as break even. All right. So this whole process worked. So this step here was to measure the sales mix, right? So I just make a note. This is sales mix. This section here was to determine. The next thing here is we use the weighted average to get the weighted average unit contribution. So get the unit for the blended unit. And now we could apply to the formula. Apply to formula and solve for BE units. Then we break it back out. Then we allocate to the two products. And then this down here is a test. Test to make sure it worked. And so this is the contribution. This is the fixed cost.